Hello to Lottie Daddy and everybody on this Manifest Monday. Oh, let me turn down. I don't need echo. All righty. Hello, Daisy. Hello, Sean and Pastor Bettina, Deacon Sean and Pastor Bettina. So glad to have you on. Hello, Prophetess Tammy. Hello. I am getting ready to start because I don't want to belabor the time nor the hour. I know your time is valuable because that's you're sharing and spending your life as you are here on today. So I want to make sure that it is a valuable time that you are spending because your time is valuable and you should always value your time. All right, so let's jump in it. I said last week we were going to talk about 5 ways in which people typically approach change. Now, I want to say this. This is not all inclusive. This is just 5 ways that I have come up with that people typically approach change. And the first one I want to discuss with you today is people watch things happen. This is a passive and a difference approach in which people don't react to change because they have no real interest in it or its impact. So some people just watch things happen. They see change happening. They have a passive indifference about it. They don't react to it because they have no interest in the change. If you don't go to movies and they change the price of the concession stand food, then it's not something that is going to be impactful to you. You'll watch it happen, but you won't care anything about it. If you don't particularly go to fast foods and the fast food prices go up, you'll see it happen, but it's indifferent to you because you have no interest in it or it does not impact you. It doesn't impact you if the prices in the theater for food goes up because you don't go to the theater. It doesn't impact you if the food and fast food industry goes up because it doesn't impact you because you don't go. Hello, happy birthday to you, uh, Pastor Lashara, and hello, Deacon Betty and Pastor Jerome. So that's one way. Number two is people let things happen. This is a resigned, a defeated, or even fatalistic approach. A person may lash out against the change, but ultimately his or her mindset is there's nothing that I can do about it. There's nothing that I can do about it. Let's just take those same two scenarios with the food increase going to the theater. Say you go to the theater and the concession stand prices go up. Some people will be upset about it. They will scream about it. They'll say there's nothing they can do about it. But the reality is there is. You can either don't take anything, don't buy the food at the concession stand, or understand that the price is going up and this is what you're going to have to do. But most people just let it happen. They almost like give up. Fast food prices on driving goes up. You are upset about it. You yell about it. But basically, you say there's nothing you can do about it. So that's number two. Number three is people ask, what happened? This is an inquisitive response, but it doesn't go much further than mere curiosity or interest in the latest gossip. It can also mean that a person never saw the change coming, therefore he or she wasn't prepared to respond for it. So it's like, what happened? I didn't see that coming. I didn't know they was going to do that. Like anytime the electric company, gas company, or whatever, your direct TV, your phone bill, or whatever, when they get ready to increase your fees, they send you a letter or an email telling you that the fees about to increase on this day, and they tell you how much it's going to be, and they let you know that this is going to happen. So you're not caught by surprise. But there's some things that happen that you didn't even know that were going to happen, and you didn't know how you wasn't prepared to respond to what is happening. I'll give you a prime example. We have had in pretty much, I'm trying to say, I forgot where we're at, but in Texas, I'll use Texas, 40 days of heat of 100 degrees, 40. And even in Miami, it's hot. It's hot everywhere. And this is not a normal type of heat during these times. Now in the desert in July and typically August, August really is considered the hot months out here. But even that, the temperatures that we're experiencing right now, we were not prepared for. We didn't think this time last year that this year we was going to have heat warnings for 3 weeks or a month going on. We didn't think that temperatures would rise so much that we would be so uncomfortable. We didn't think that flights would be canceled in Palm Springs because of the heat. We didn't think that pools would be canceled because of the air quality in the low desert. So these are things that happen, and we go, what happened? And we don't know. We weren't prepared to how to respond to it, and it caught us by surprise. Number 4 is people defy what happens. This is when people try to resist the inevitable changes in his or her life, wasting valuable time and energy in the process. An example would be somebody, like I said, the electric goes up. It's inevitable. It's going to go up. You can complain all you want to. You can resist if you try to. But at the end of the day, if you don't pay the bill, they turn your lights off. So that's something that you can defy it if you want to, but it's going to happen. And that change is what is going to cause a problem, because we're wasting valuable time and energy in a process of defying something that is not going to go away. We are inevitably trying to defy something that is not going to go away. Right now, we see states are defying federal laws or mandates to do certain things. Right now, Texas is in a battle with the Department of Justice because the Department of Justice wants them to take down these barriers that they have to keep the immigrants from coming over. And the Department of Justice is saying it's inhumane. Texas is saying, hey, we can do what we want to do. It's our state. So there's this battle of, but at the end, inevitable is somebody is going to make a ruling, a federal judge, or ultimately could be the Supreme Court, that says one way or the other, and it's going to be inevitable that something is going to change. The governor says, I don't care what, see you in court, to the president. And that's the kind of things that is happening in the sense of defying what happens, defying the fact that things are going to change, and wasting valuable time in the process. The other part of that is people make things happen. This is a proactive response by people that either alter the quality or degree of change that happens to a person or that initiates new change. So it is proactive response by a person that either alters the quality or the degree of the change that happens to the person or initiates new changes. Proactive people are the ones who usually succeed in life against all odds. I refer to these men and women as world changers. That's, like Creflo Dollar Church, world changers. I consider, and I have to agree, that people who are proactive about things and they are usually the ones that are successful, not the ones that sit back and watch things happen, but those that say, okay, let me be proactive about it. What can I do in order to do something about it? I want to be a world changer. Somebody back in the time, let me get one of these so I can show you what I'm talking about. Back in the day, somebody sat around and they saw people writing on paper and putting it all over the place. And somebody decided to make a post-it. This is it. Somebody's invention. They saw something and they were proactive in making a change, so that now instead of writing paper that you can't, so now I can write a note that I want and I can post it on my board, I can post it on my icebox, I can post it on wherever I can post it, rather than having just various scripts of paper to be able to that are just all over the place. So there was something that was needed that somebody was proactive in getting in order for us to be able to do what we need to do. Another example, the sun visor that people use basically out here and a lot of other places that they put in their car, supposedly to keep the heat from making it hotter in the car. I don't see how they work that well myself. Even the screens that go up and down in the back and on the sides, I don't see how it really, maybe it does, and I don't really know it, but somebody invented those things that go in the front in the front of your windshield, and they, hello, Patrick, and they, hello, Troy, hello, Danielle, and they came up with the idea. They were proactive. So they were successful because they were proactive. So they were world changers. You will never really know who you are and what you can be if you don't understand the nature of change and understand how to shape its consequences. I need to say that again. You will never know who you are and who you can be if you don't understand the nature of change and understand how to shape its consequences. With each change that happens to us, around us, and within us, we can learn some things. We can learn to define and interpret the change, and that's what we hope, that the changes that are. So what do I learn and define from these things that are happening around me, these changes? How do I interpret these changes? I can discover principles for responding to the change so that it benefits others as well as myself. So first, I'm going to learn and define and interpret what the change is. Then maybe I can discover principles for responding to the change so that it's a benefit to not only me, but to others. Which with each change we wish to initiate in our lives, we can, number one, learn how, and Daisy, you don't have to write all these down. This is, I know you try to, but I'm just trying to get to a point here. So I'm not expecting you to write those, just those 5 ones that we covered. That would be just great for me. With each change we can initiate our lives, we can learn, number one, learn how creating change enables us to fulfill our purpose in life. So when we initiate these things in our life, we learn how creating changes enables us to fulfill our purpose in life. Maybe your purpose in life was to initiate and interpret a change, was to discover how for responding to the change that can be beneficial, and now learning how to create change that will enable you to fulfill your purpose. So I'm learning how, with each change that I wish to initiate in my life, I'm learning how these changes can help me to fulfill the purposes in my life. I'm learning how, hello, Elder Glenn, I'm learning how I can do these things in my life. Number 2, I'm discovering practical methods for implementing specific changes, specific plans, rather, to fulfill those purposes. So I'm discovering. First, I learn creative changes enables me to fulfill my purpose in life. Then I discover practical methods for implementing specific plans to fulfill those purposes. Change can be either an enemy or a friend. Change can be either an enemy or a friend. You can put that down, Daisy. Change can be either an enemy or a friend. Think of change as your friend rather than your enemy. Change is not the kind of friend who will sit and commiserate with you at a pity party, but a friend who will encourage you to be the best that you can be. I love that. Change is like a friend and not an enemy, but it is not the kind of friend that's going to sit around and have a pity party with you. It is going to be the kind of friend that's going to encourage you and to be the best you can. You want change to be there to encourage you, not to sit around and have a pity party and commiserate about it. That's how you doing, Pastor Monique? And so it is my desire that through the conversations that we're having over this month and next month, that you will begin to see change as the arrival of opportunity rather than the invasion of destruction. I need you to write this down too, Dave. This would be nice. So let me say it again. You will begin after during this time between June and July. I want you to begin to see change, and this is what I want you to see change as the arrival of opportunity rather than the invasion of destruction. I want you to see change as the arrival of opportunity rather than the invasion of destruction. I'm telling you that if you would just bear with me and tough it out for this month and next month, that when you get this in your spirit, when you get the understanding of change as a friend, to be the one that gives you the arrival of opportunities rather than the invasion of destruction, when you can see that Opportunity is a friend that's not going to let you commiserate in a pity party, but is going to push you to be the best that you can. You're going to benefit better than anyone else who is not able, who did not take the time out to be on and learn about this. I'm telling you that we have to see change as an opportunity rather than an invasion, and we have to see and we have to respond to it in that way. Responding to change in a positive way doesn't come automatically or easy for the most people. Change doesn't come easy. I know as you get older, definitely change is harder as you get older. You get used to getting in and doing things a certain way, and then they change on you. You don't do well with change as you grow older. That's why I'm trying to get those that are on to learn about it now, so as you grow older, you can go along better with it. Yet there are specific principles of change that enables us to deal with the benefit from it, because there's benefits from change. We have to change. You think about it. When we started back years ago, before they had computers, before they had where you could type and have Grammarly that can correct, or you can speak in a phone and it'll say type out what you're saying, or you can speak in a phone and dictate it and it'll send an audio to. We didn't have that back in the day. But look how that people who were back then, if you told them about it, they would say it was ridiculous. It's never going to happen. But look at the benefits that it is today. It makes our life easier. Sometimes I'm not a text person like some of the young people that can like text 200 words a minute or whatever. But I can pick up my phone, push that record button, and I can say what I want to say and send it to somebody as though we're talking on the phone. I can have write a paragraph and be writing and push Grammarly, and Grammarly will correct my spellings and it will give me a different way of looking. These are changes that were beneficial, and they were benefit to us that help us be better. The only way for you to move forward, and we talked about moving forward on yesterday, oh Lord, did we have a good time, to where you want to go in life, regardless of your circumstances, is to initiate desired change and to address unwanted change constructively. The only way, and write this down, I'll tell you which part, Daisy, this part right here, regardless of your circumstances, when you initiate change, to initiate desired change in your circumstance, and to address unwanted change constructively. To initiate desired change in your circumstance and to address unwanted change constructively. To initiate desired change in your circumstance and to address unwanted change constructively. You must understand that the nature of change and the principle for responding to it. Otherwise, you will be sidetracked or defeated by times of transition and perhaps never make the personal, professional advances needed to improve your life. If you don't understand what we've just been talking about, and understand the nature of change and the principles for responding to it. If you don't understand the nature of change and the principle for responding to it, you will be sidetracked or defeated by the times of transition and perhaps never make the personal and professional advances needed to improve your life. Some things are necessary for the improvement of your life. And I'll give you an example of that. Every 6 months, I have a physical. I go to my doctor and they tell you what you this, that, and the other. And one of the things that I mentioned it was that they were concerned about kidney. And we know that if you don't your kidney doesn't function properly, that you may have to have a transplant. That's not my case. And so don't be concerned. I'm just talking about what needed to happen. I don't like to drink water. I never have. Growing up as a kid, maybe when we took out the water hose out playing in the yard, we may drink out of it, but I never was introduced to drinking water as an everyday function. We drank Kool-Aid, we drank sodas, but we never milk or chocolate milk, all of that, but we were never really pushed to drink water. Even in the summer times when it was hot, we would have Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid tastes great. Wish we had some. Can't wait. That's the thing. That's what we were in. We were never really pushed to drink water. Now in the Marine Corps, when we was out doing whatever, they tell us to drink water. I remember in boot camp, I was supposed to have been drinking water. I was the first squad leader, and we was going up a hill in Camp Pendleton because I went to boot camp in San Diego, and it was at Camp Pendleton, and we were going up a hill, and it was in the summertime because I went to boot camp in the summertime in June, and so it's July, you're at Camp Pendleton, and you're going up these hills, and you're supposed to drink water. I didn't like water, so I became a heat casualty because I didn't hydrate enough to keep me from being a heat casualty. I didn't like water, but now as they talk to me, I understand the importance of drinking the water to keep from having my kidneys to shut down. Once again, that's not my issue. I'm just talking so that it will function properly. I didn't like water. I don't like, so I tried drinking sparkling water, and I realized after a course in time that drinking sparkling water does not help you as drinking distilled water. So I had to find something that I could think that would make me drink water enough that I would be able to like it and begin to drink it because I like drinking it as opposed to making it a forced habit. So I finally found some distilled water that I like, that tastes good to me, that I now purposely drink because it's good. I enjoy it. But I had to make a change in my mind because in my mind, I don't like water. So here's the other part of that. We talk about in a spiritual aspect, we say death and life are in the power of the tongue. So if I keep telling myself I don't like water and I don't want to drink water, what do you think is going to happen as I progress? I'm not going to want to drink water because I'm telling myself I don't drink water. Hello, Thelma. That I don't like water. So what I have done now is I tell myself that water is necessary function for me, for my whole body. It helps my whole body, not just my kidneys, but water is important for my whole body, for hydration, for my kidney function, for all of that. So when I change my mind, I then understand how I can become better at doing it. So I had to make a change. I had to make a personal change in order for it to benefit me, or else I would not have been able to have the benefits of having water to be a benefit if I keep telling myself I don't want it, I don't like it. So that's a personal thing that I had to change. Even professionally, you have to make changes professionally. You can't continue to operate on your job at a substandard level and expect to be promoted. You have to look for things to make advancements. In other words, hey, do you have anything else I can do? I remember when I started out as working in labor at maintenance. And laborer is just passing somebody a tool, cutting oleanders, but that was not my inspiration. My desire was not to retire as a laborer. So I continued to look out there to see what was available. In order to get something else, I had to change from what I was doing. So I went from a laborer and I went to the warehouse using my experience as a teenager working in a store when I grew up before I came in the Marine Corps. I said, okay, I work in the warehouse. Well, the warehouse wasn't where I wanted to retire, but I had to look and say, okay, in order for me to effectively make more money, in order to help support my family, I need to find something else. Well, what else is out there? I'm gonna have to make a change. I can't get comfortable driving a forklift, unloading trucks, putting stuff on shelves, doing inventory. I got to find something else. So then a gym manager job came open at the at the East Gym. And I knew that I worked at PCP, Physical Conditioning Platoon, as a drill instructor. So I took the job and made the change. It was a change because now I have to change from where I'm just working with people to now I got people working for me. This was not something that I was unaccustomed to, because being a staff instructor in the Marine Corps, you got people working for you. But now it's a new dynamic. It was okay when all the people that worked for me were Marines on FAP because I could identify. But when they made it civilians versus Marines, that's a whole new territory. I had never had civilians working. So that was another change that I had to. So I did that for 13 years. I kept working there until eventually I said, hey, I'm looking for something else. What do you have out there? And I went out there once again because I did certain things. So I said all that to say that I had to make changes in my professional life in order for me to improve my personal life. I had to make, and not only my personal, but in professional, I had to make advances, but I had to make changes. And yes, everything changes. It does. And we're going to look at next week how to make change works for you. But one thing I wanted to say that this Greek philosopher said, and then we'll be done. You cannot step twice in the same river, for other waters are continually flowing in. Ooh, that was from Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher. I'm going to say that again because that when I read that, that was just awesome. And think about this. I want you to think about it. You cannot step twice into the same river, for other waters are continuing to flow in. So what does that mean? Push, pause, so that was a $50 with the word with a 50 cents meaning. All that means is if I step in the water at 4 o'clock and I step in the same river at 4:05, I'm not stepping into the same water because the water that was in there at 4 o'clock has moved and new water has came in. So I can never step in the same water twice because water is flowing. And that's what we have to look at change. We can never step in the same place, change like that, because change is how we make ourselves going. We got to have something flowing in our lives in order for us to be good. I have to say it again. That's what we need. Think about it. I can never, I know we never even think about that. We get in water, we step in water, and we know you cannot step twice in the same river, for other waters are flowing in. Oh, that was deep, right? Think about it. That's just a good example of how we need to look at change. I can never expect to do the same thing all the time because things are flowing. I'm anticipating things to flow. I'm anticipating things to change. I'm anticipating that things that are going to change. So now my response, rather than being mad because I can't step in the same water twice, is okay, the water is flowing. I'm going to enjoy the water that I'm stepping in now, knowing that 5 minutes later, there's going to be new water. So now I understand that I relish the time that I am in, but I'm looking forward to the new flow. I relish the time that I'm in, but I am eagerly anticipating the new flow. And that's what we have to look at change. That's why I believe God had me talk about change and the benefits of it over these next 2 months. And I know it's a long thing, and I'm not concerned about how long it is. I think it's important, and I know it's important, or else God, because I've never done this before. I've never had a series that I talked about for 2 straight months on Manifest Monday. I've always had something different. But God said, I need you to focus in on the change and the benefit of it, because we're going to need it in these upcoming seasons. We're going to need to be able to be change agents, world changers. We're going to need to be able to understand that change is inevitable, and we're going to understand that we're going to have to be a part of the change and not fight the change, and be able to flow with the change and pick out, and don't sit up and have a pity party, but use change as a friend that's going to motivate us and encourage us to do better and make our lives better, understanding that it is needful and necessary for us to change. How you doing, Joe? And so I'm doing all of this as I know. How you doing, Jay? And Pastor Brian and Nana and Brock. I'm doing all of this because I want you to embrace what is about to happen. I want you to embrace what God is about to do. But unless we understand it both in a spiritual and a professional and a personal way, we will miss what God is trying to do, because we're going to get stuck in what God did. We're going to miss what God is going to do because we're going to get stuck in what God did. Let's not get stuck in what he did, but let's move on to what he's doing. Doing, continue with what he's doing. I'm glad of what God has done in my life, but I'm excited about what God is doing in my life and what God is going to do in my life. So that's the excitement of the water flowing. That's the excitement of change. That's the benefit of it. So next week, we're going to talk about how do we react to change? Because our natural tendencies is acting before we think. So how do we react to it? How do we react to the changes? And that's what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about reacting to change versus responding to change. We're going to talk about reacting to change versus responding to change. That's what we're going to talk about next week. I pray this has been a blessing. I forgot to tell you to share. But Lord knows this has blessed me today. I pray that it bless you. We are on our way to be beneficial for the changes that God is going to do in our lives. Please share this with others because it's going to be beneficial to them. And like I said, next week, reacting to change versus responding to change. As always, at the place where I preach the most, I have to say, I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Once again, thank you, Daisy, for your excellent writing and putting things out so people can look at it. I pray that you let's give her a hand for what she's doing. I really appreciate what she's doing, and she didn't have to, but she does, and it's very helpful to me. I pray that it's helpful to you. So I know I'm all out of minutes, but I'm not out of message. But as I said before, love you. There's nothing you can do about it. And always, let's go to work and change and watch the benefits of it and get it done.